Welcome to the Brew Crew Review Podcast, the show by fans for fans of your Milwaukee Brewers.
All right, Brewer fan, welcome to the Brew Crew Review Podcast, Brewers 2025 Draft Recap. We're here on the eve of the All-Star Game. Joining me today is Vince. Vince, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Craig. How are you doing?
Doing good, of course. The Brewers riding a 7-game win streak into the break. I mean, it feels pretty good going into All-Star break, knowing we only need 5 more consecutive wins to get the George Webb hamburger deal. Assuming that's still a thing. I think it is.
It is still a thing.
And you know, our former colleague Mark Antoniak, who loves those Webb burgers, he used to get the 6 for 5 deal quite often. That and the Big Whoppers from the press box. But yeah, no, he and the bacon.
Mark was not waiting around for Brewers winning streaks to go purchase some George Webb's burgers. He was willing to throw down the $5 himself.
Nice. All right, so as you know, the Brewers have excelled at drafting over the last number of years. Really, as we're coming upon the 25th anniversary here of Miller Park / AmFam Field, I really feel like they've done a fairly well drafting most of this century, I guess you'd have to call it.
Yeah, except for Eric Brown. I don't know what's going on with him.
That's true. There's some other
and Corey Ray.
Yeah, I guess we'll just gloss over those. There's one of my favorites that didn't pan out, like Jake Gatewood, but they can't all be winners. Yeah. What we do have, I think, is some winners here in this list. So I'm gonna just to recap all the Brewers draft picks. They had 20 rounds of picks and a couple of comp picks in the first couple of rounds too, which is nice. So we'll go over that right now, and then we'll go more into detail. All right. So in case you weren't paying attention or don't have access to the internet, here's a list of all the Brewers draftees, and most of these I assume will be future Hall of Famers. We shall see. But let's start off with round one, first round pick, number 20 overall. The Brewers picked Andrew Fisher, third baseman from Tennessee, University of Tennessee. Their supplemental first round pick, 32nd overall. They picked high school shortstop Brady Ebel from California High School. And round two, pick number 59, they picked left-handed pitcher J.D. Thompson from Vanderbilt. Their round two comp pick, number 68 overall, they picked Frank Carone, left-handed pitcher from high school in New Jersey. Third round, 94th overall, they picked Jacob Morrison, right-handed pitcher from Coastal Carolina. Fourth round, number 125, they picked right-handed pitcher from high school in Indiana, Joshua Flores. Fifth round, number 155, Sean Episcope, a right-handed pitcher from Princeton, Ivy League school. Round 6, Daniel Dickinson, a shortstop from LSU. Round 7, Joshua Ragsdale, outfielder from Boston College. Round 8, Hayden Vucevic, a right-handed pitcher from high school in Minnesota. Round 9, Andrew Healy, a left-handed pitcher from Duke.
Do you think he's any relation to Ryan Healy, Brewers cleanup hitter in the 2020 playoffs?
I don't believe that he is, but I'll have Scott's interns check on that. So round 10, Braylon Owens, right-handed pitcher, UT San Antonio. Round 11, CJ Hughes, shortstop, California High School. Round 12, Cooper Underwood, left-handed pitcher, Georgia High School. Brewers do love their Coopers. Ever since Scott's email Puppy Cooper back in around 2005. Actually, probably from Cecil Cooper, actually. But
yeah,
both of them were great.
Cooper,
yeah,
Cecil Cooper, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Round 13, right-handed pitcher Gavin Lauriston from California High School. I was hoping the Brewers would somehow get through all 20 picks without picking Gavin, but alas, there's one. Round 14, catcher Brendan Brock, Southwestern Illinois College catcher. Round 15, Dominic Kaditz, multi-position player, corner infielder, outfielder from Notre Dame High School in California. Round 16, Parker Collie, or sorry, Parker Coyle, I think it might be pronounced, right-handed pitcher from Arkansas. And then 17th round, Luke Rope, right-handed pitcher from North Carolina, looks like Grace Christian School. And round 18, Rylan Mills, catcher from high school in Missouri. Um, or from Missouri, as they call it down in those parts. And round 19, right-handed pitcher Chase Bentley from IMG Academy in Florida. It's a famous school down there. And then round 20, our last pick of the draft, we picked Mikhail Holden, a pitcher from Thompson High School in Alabama. So, I guess before we go over individual players, what is your overall take on the draft and how they did, Vince?
I don't really know any of these people, Craig, to be totally frank. So I'm excited to see how they develop, but I'm also very confident in the Brewers front office to identify talent, to bring guys through the system while adding to their already clearly strong natural abilities, and to get the most out of these guys. So I have complete faith in the Brewers front office. I personally don't follow college baseball as much as I probably should, so I don't really want to opine on that, to be frank.
Okay. Yeah, and so a lot of this analysis does come from our minor league draft guru, Brandon. So he's pretty fired up about our first round pick, actually, number 20 overall. Andrew Fisher, again, a lot of scouts think he might become a first baseman. His comp that I hear thrown out is from the Dodgers, Max Muncy, where he's got really good plate discipline, some really good power, questionable, spot on the diamond, whether it be third base, first base, DH. However, his bat should play at the major league level. I've heard that a lot, which is something for a first rounder. Now, the Brewers did just, I believe, last year select a Tennessee first baseman and Blake Burke, who's already excelling here in our minor leagues this year. They were not teammates. Fisher actually played his first few years at a couple of different schools. He transferred most recently from Ole Miss to Tennessee after Blake Burke was drafted by the Brewers. So,
Yep.
but yeah, Fisher. I mean, okay. So if anyone watches the MLB draft coverage, Fisher's college coaches happened to be on the panel.
Yeah.
And so he was pretty fired up about this pick, and he made some mention that really made me smile and laugh. He said that Fisher and Murphy would probably end up sparring together, and that they both would really enjoy that, which made me laugh pretty hard.
I I saw that.
Apparently,
We actually Scotty's interns retweeted a chunk of that interview from the draft coverage as well.
oh, awesome! Another really thing that he said that really made me smile too is he said that Andrew Fisher is so comfortable in his own skin that he actually makes you uncomfortable in yours, which I mean, I don't feel like I feel like Bryce, no one would ever say that about Bryce Trang. So maybe this is a different type of character we're adding to the mix here. Again, long way to go to the major leagues, but not adding him into our system. I really do like his bat. Was happy with the pick. Again, he should be fairly close to the major leagues to help out in a couple of years. And again, he was listed, and the Brewers listed him at third baseman. So it's under my belief that the Brewers probably believe he can stick at third, which is makes him more valuable probably than a first baseman, which we have now starting to build up in our system. But overall, the thing that I like and the shift that the Brewers have done, instead of always like looking for up the middle types, drafting tons of shortstop, second baseman, center fielder types, and nothing wrong with that. We built a great team. But focusing on power from the corner infield position is not something that they've really done in many drafts recently. And I think, I mean, up until the most recent drafts. So I think this is a nice little change of pace. And I think that some of these guys are going to, not all of them, but a lot of them are going to work out. So just from the last couple of years alone, we've got Brock Wilkin, who was, hands down the best power hitter coming out of that draft a couple of years ago. Blake Burke last year's got plenty of power. And then now we've added, Fisher, who profiles as a corner infielder with power as well. So, yeah, no, again, with that Max Muncy cop, I'm going to put in there, he's going to be like a mix between Max Muncy and Niger Morgan.
Hey,
And when I talk about that, I mean his clubhouse presence. I really think he's going to, give our clubhouse a little bit of edge that it might not necessarily have. I mean, we have a lot of guys that are that are, really, laid back, nice guys and whatever. And not that we don't have a current leader or someone to fire everyone up, but like every once in a while when you add in a young guy or some type of character to a team, it kind of just adds a little edge to the team. So I kind of like that. But overall, just prospect wise, I think he's going to be a good one. I'm really
One
excited
difference
about his
between
play.
him and Max Muncy, Craig, is that Max Muncy is a 41st round pick.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as far as I really think the number one thing that stands out to him is his plate discipline. I think he has a really good idea of the strike zone, and that way it
Yeah.
makes his power play up because when he does wait for his pitch and he gets it, he hammers it. So again, I really think that he's got like 30 plus home run power, and that's an exciting thing to put in the system. So moving on to some of our other picks, our 31st, or I'm sorry, 32nd overall pick, Brady Ebel, also was his dad actually coaches for the Dodgers currently, and he's been kind of described as a kind of a little bit of a baseball rat. I've seen a comp to him as like almost a Stephen Drew thrown out there, but I think he's got a nice hit tool. He's only 17 as of right now, so it's probably a long way to go to the major leagues. But again, a nice player. I think that the Brewers added their system there. Another guy I'm really fired up about is our second round pick, number 59 overall. That's JD Thompson from Vanderbilt. Again, people are raving about his changeup, and he throws mid 90s, but they say his fastball has some deception to it, and it really um, played off the changeup or whatever. So he's got really nice strikeout totals. And again, the Brewers excel at. I guess I'll start to saying like you could almost bank it that the Brewers aren't going to be picking up a pitcher with their first round pick, but where they really excel in the draft is through that, anywhere from the second round pick to the 10th round pick range in particular. They've grabbed guys like Brandon Woodruff, I think it was a 10th round pick. Corbin Burns is a 5th round pick. Jacob Mizorowski was a late second round pick. Um, and there's some other guys I'm missing. As a more recent guy, Logan Henderson, I think was like a top 5 pick. But anyway, the bottom line is I think the Brewers did the same thing in this draft and grabbed some really intriguing arms here in this range. I'm pretty excited about a lot of these guys. Then our other second round pick, 69th overall, Frank uh, Carone, left-hand pitcher uh, from the New Jersey high school. People are raving about his ridiculous spin rates, and again, that's something the Brewers
Yep.
analytics have focused on. So again, those are two nice lefties, one college, one high school. That are really something to get excited about. And then that takes us to our third round pick, Jacob Morrison, who people have joked out of a community college, just like another Jacob M. out of a community college drafted in this range of between 50 and 100 picks in the draft. And if you notice, we have a Jacob M. currently in the All-Star game tonight from a community college. Same thing. This guy is a huge monster. He's 6'8", can't throw quite over 100 miles an hour, but he has a high upper 90s fastball and some nice secondaries, and people are pretty excited about his potential too. So pretty exciting times.
And Jim Morrison is somebody that I know that our anonymous source, Tom Carter, is very, very high on as well. Tom had mentioned that to me several times, even before the draft.
Oh yeah, TC. Yeah, no, I remember talking to him too. Yeah. Again, just the T and the C are the anonymous, not everything. So, but yeah, so that's, and then there's some other guys a little bit later. I guess I'm trying to see if there's any other guys that kind of stand out to me that we picked up. One guy that I think will be the tough sign was who we got in the 12th round, Cooper Underwood, the Cooper I mentioned from Georgia High School, left-hand pitcher. He was expected to go in the top 150 picks, and he lasted to about 360 range. And so he'd be a tough sign, but I don't know how the Brewers could have saved, depending on how many of these guys slot under slot in the first couple of rounds of their picks. Their bonus pool money might allow them to actually sign him. And my thinking is that's a really good possibility because a lot of times the Brewers don't waste picks on guys they don't feel that they can sign or that they'll have money for. So that's kind of an exciting name a little bit later in the draft at the 12th round. Cooper Underwood, a left-handed pitcher, also out of high school. So, yeah, is there overall I just think they nailed this draft once again. I mean, I haven't even read too in depth on the internet what grades they've been given by other experts or whatnot. But Brandon tells me this is a heck of a draft. The research I've done shows me that I'm really excited about some of these players. Again, especially our first two picks, Fisher and Ebel, a college guy and a high school guy, and then a couple of nice arms, a couple of lefties, and then Morrison, of course. Of our first five picks.
Does Brandon like does Jacob M a little bit more than our current Jacob M? I mean, he wasn't as
Um,
high as these
yeah,
others.
he he actually yeah, he's a fan of any Jacob M this point forward, he said. So he also is giving the benefit of the doubt to most Coopers, but not Gavin's. So I'm in the same boat as him with that. So yeah, so pretty exciting draft haul, in my opinion, by the Milwaukee Brewers. So kudos to their front office. I think they really nailed this one, and I guess time will tell. And again, looking at what some of the other teams are doing, even our division rival Cubs picked a couple outfielders with their first two picks. The Brewers, I don't know if they took any outfielders. I'm looking at the list here. Okay, they didn't take their first outfielder until the seventh round. They took a Boston College outfielder. But really, it seemed like they focused on pitching and a couple of up the middle picks, and of course, Fisher as a middle infielder. But I'm sorry, I'm the corner infielder. But overall, I mean, yeah, they really focused on arms, and they do that like I mentioned a lot of times. You can never have too much pitching. That's been said over and over again. The Brewers right now
Yep.
do have too much pitching at the major league level, which will allow them to hopefully make a little splash here at the deadline. As we head toward the end of July here coming up. So, yeah,
No, Greg, this
overall,
is exciting because there are many years that you are kind of anticipate. I know in our pre-production meeting, you're usually being very upset on draft day, and that has not been the case this year. So that was kind of a new aberration. I think maybe last year you were okay too, but many years in the past, this has been draft night was always one of your most frustrated nights in the past. It led you to those anger management
well, I
courses
mean,
and things.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. I mean, Brand does a little bit deeper dive in each of these guys. So after talking to him, I'm a little bit quelled as far as like, or more excited with my enthusiasm. However, normally what I go in is I look at where we're picking the range and research a lot of guys who might fall to us, and then usually
yeah,
come up with a favorite. And it's usually whatever target, whatever the guy I land on, who I want the Brewers pick. They never do. Um,
right.
this year it was actually a guy that was still on the board when pick 20 came up. He ended up going 21 to the Astros, and that was third baseman out of high school, 6'4", third baseman, Xavier Nyans is his name. The Astros picked him. I mean,
Yeah,
again, coming out of high school, you've got a lot, long ways to go there, but I love his power potential as a third baseman, and I just think he's got a really high ceiling. But with that being said, I'm not knocking the Fisher pick. I think that really fits well with with a Murphy type team and with this something that this team kind of seems to need power wise, position wise, character wise. It's hard for me to really knock the pick there, and for them passing on a high schooler for this awesome guy coming out of Tennessee. So,
yeah.
yeah, so there's really no complaints there. But yeah, overall, usually I'm a little bit disappointed they miss out on my specific target, but I guess they know what they're doing and I don't. So I will happily admit that. So
We'll have to see how you feel after the trade deadline passes as well, because that's usually the other barometer each season.
yeah. And speaking of the trade deadline, again, just looking at some of the prospects, I'm thinking, well, who will we trade? And I'm just thinking from the other team's perspectives, who are they going to be placing calls in on us? And the guy that keeps popping into mind, obviously, is Logan Henderson. I'm thinking, oh, well, I wouldn't mind trading Carlos Rodriguez or Garrett Mitchell or Tyler Black, whose stock is all a little bit down due to injury or other, from this season. But in reality,
Yeah,
Logan Henderson made a huge, nice splash here at the major league level on his debut in a couple of starts, and I think that he's a good sell high candidate. And no offense to him, I think he can be a really nice, carve out a nice little major league career, more toward the middle or back of a rotation. But I think in some people's minds, based off of what he's accomplished in a short career, people are thinking that he could be like a number two starter. And not that he can't, but I think that's a more unlikely outcome overall. And
yeah,
so it would, I mean, I want to keep the guy just because I like him, but if push comes to shove, if it helps make our current club team using a depth piece like that is a kind of a sell high candidate, would, in my opinion, possibly be smart depending on who we can land for him. So with that being said, I
yeah.
guess,
We can talk about that a bit more in our trade deadline episode coming up to next week. But I do think that Henderson's got a lot of value right now. So obviously, I think the Brewers are going to be wise and explore different paths. We can take this trade deadline, and obviously it depends on what's available from other teams and where we're trying to target. But let's get into some specifics on that in our next episode.
Yeah, let's do that. And again, the main thing I want to emphasize is that the fact that we're sitting at the All-Star break with 56 wins, the most in franchise history. We got to kind of try
Yeah.
to, strike while the iron is hot, so to speak, and not pass up on opportunities because we're getting spoiled with all these playoff opportunities year in and year out. I believe that, and so I think we should try to take advantage and go on a deeper playoff run whenever we
Yeah.
get the opportunity. So anyway, that's my take on that. But once again, kudos
I
to the
agree. I
draft.
agree with you on that completely, Craig. As we've talked about before, to me this is the time. So we can't you and I both remember the '90s and all those Brewers teams, and that's when I came of age, and it certainly was not typical for the Brewers organization to see this sort of sustained success. So I'm all in on that mentality as well. I think we need to go for it each and every year when we can.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, again, thanks for tuning in and listening to our podcast, guys. Hopefully, enjoy the draft, enjoy the All-Star festivities, and enjoy the Brewers starting to kick butt in the second half. Really hoping that we're all eating George Webb hamburgers by the time you listen to our next podcast, and also talk raving about possible trade scenarios. So we'll see.
Yeah. And unlike a lot of our friends online, it seems like the All-Star game is getting, some flack this year. I love the All-Star game, just for the record. So I'm very excited to watch tonight. I hope that you are too, Craig. It's going to be exciting. 3 Brewers are representing our organization at the All-Star game. Obviously, Freddie Peralta will not be in the game, but he is there and in uniform. We saw him at the home run derby last night. Jacob Mizorowski, of course, and Trevor McGill, who just walked down the red carpet in Atlanta. So it's pretty exciting times. I think that it's one of my favorite days of the summer. I've always enjoyed the All-Star game, so hopefully it's a great game tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the stars come together.
Absolutely. And maybe they'll both, and hoping as a Brewer fan they'll both pitch, but if you're managing the NL team and it's like the 7th inning and it's time to put one of the 2 Brewer pitchers in, but not both of them, do you put in Trevor McGill or Jacob Mizorowski?
Well, I think Mizorowski is the answer only because Dave Roberts said so before the game today. So he said he's pitching today for sure, and it'll either be in the somewhere between the 5th through the 7th inning.
I gotta believe that was a phone call from Major League Baseball or an email or whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
just so you know, Jacob Mizorowski is pitching.
He's going to get his 1 inning
pitching.
work in.
Oh, okay. I'll pencil him in.
Yeah, very well. So we already know the answer to that. But yeah, we'll just account the dynamite reporting skills of our colleagues Scott and Craig on getting that information. So that's apparently how we found that out.
Awesome. So, all right. Stay classy, Wisconsin, and go Brewers.
All right. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Vikram. Go Brewers.